All right, in 3, 2, 1.
Run! Go! This is the podcast!
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a podcast?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and
Podcast.
and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hey everyone, welcome to Get to the Podcast. That's Get to the Podcast with the number 2. My name is Diego D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
And I'm scared.
All right.
Just
You
that's
should
it.
be.
That's
You should
Point
be,
taken.
he says.
You should be. What?
Yeah.
Back up them words. What are you going to do?
Yeah, what's
Because,
up? That's tough.
scary movies.
Yeah, that's right. That's what's
Movies are
up.
scary.
Wow, this is going nowhere
It's
fast.
going literally nowhere.
Really fast. Well, it's Halloween month.
I had
Yes.
nothing. I had nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nothing.
no.
I was-
Neither
we
of you
were-
had anything.
I'm not a
We-
good
no.
riffer. I don't riff.
Can I riff? Yeah, so it's Halloween month.
It is Halloween
We're
month.
sticking with that theme.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about today? I think we should talk about horror movies that ruined us.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Horror movies are like we know what horror movies are, but movies that have ruined us for a particular activity, right?
Exactly.
Or movies that have ruined us for doing something like going in the water, or walking down dark hallways, or hanging out with just a dog, just you and
Made you think twice
Whatever.
before you put your hand down the sink.
stuff like that.
Yeah, that is interesting, actually. There have been times where, like, a spoon has fallen into the garbage disposal, and I'm like, oh, I'll just... And
Oh,
I'm
I
like,
cut
why
the-
do I have this thought that it's just going to turn on?
just
and
gonna
I
it's
like
turn
go.
on.
I cut the power line to the house.
Yeah,
like, there's
like
no
I call
fucking-
the electric company, like,
It's
you're going to
just
have to
gonna
kill the
turn
power.
on.
I
I
got
go
to pull
invest
that
in a
spoon
whole.
out of there.
I go invest in a whole set of armor, like a knight's armor. I put on the whole fucking thing, big glove, Thanos glove, and then I stick my hand down there.
You could just use,
Nick
like,
goes,
little
Nick
pliers
goes,
or
honey,
something
can you
and
grab
pull it out."
that?
Yeah.
Honey, can you grab that in there?
Yeah.
4 hours later, got it.
Just bring your neighbor over. Hey, neighbor. Oh, you think you could grab that thing for me?
Yeah. They've bought new spoons. Like, it's all done.
Yeah.
But he's like, no.
So I have one to start it off because this is something that people talk about a lot. Is movies that have ruined you for going in the water, right? At the
Yeah.
beach.
Oh, yeah.
Jaws was like the first one to do that, where people were literally scared shitless about going
Yeah.
to the water.
Which is actually hilarious
'Cause
because
it's
you look
not
at the
true.
statistics, it's like 5 to 10 people a year get bitten by
Yeah.
sharks.
Like, far more
humans
people
on
die in
Earth
cars.
Reported attack.
Yeah,
It's like
but
so
still, the
small.
fact that it could be you if
But
you
it's
go to
like
the beach.
tens of millions
Yeah.
of people are in the water on a beach on
Yeah.
any given
It's
day.
literally freak
More than that,
accidents.
probably like hundreds of millions.
Yeah, because
are in the
apparently
water.
sharks don't like human meat. Like that, they
No,
they
they'll
literally
avoid
think you're
humans.
fish
Yeah.
when you're up,
Yeah,
up at
exactly.
the top. They get confused.
They'll
'cause
bite
they're-
you and then be like, "Oh, gross."
Yeah,
and
they're
then they move
fucking
on.
idiots. They're not exactly like the most intelligent species out there. So they're like, oh, I guess that's a fish.
Oh, there's a
eat this
seal.
fucking thing. Right? They bite it like that's nasty, and they leave you. That's why usually they don't consume the
I
whole
think they like
person.
the
They just
fat.
get a
Yeah.
They bite your leg, and then it's like, well, how'd you get away? Well, because they don't fucking like the way you taste.
Yeah,
Basically,
let
they
go.
bite you,
Yeah, they let
and
go.
they're annoyed that you weren't a fish or a seal.
Yeah.
Then they just
Now
fuck you
piranha,
over.
piranha will just keep eating you.
No, apparently piranha. Apparently that's bullshit too. You could
Really?
swim and like see a piranhas. It's
There have
like
been all kinds of stories of people. I mean,
Same
it's
with
not
sharks.
common, but like, I mean,
you're
if
doing the same thing, man. With shark, you're doing the same. You're
Am I?
pulling the same.
You-
Am
fucking
I
thing.
scared of
See,
piranhas
yeah.
because of
Yeah,
piranha
yeah.
movies?
You're doing exactly what we
All
talked
right,
about.
all right, full disclosure, I've never seen a piranha or
Right.
been in a river with piranha or seen anyone get eaten by piranha. So
It's a
this
myth.
is
There are no
all,
piranhas. No, I was
No,
reading a whole
there's
thing about
piranha.
piranhas not that long ago, and it was sort of like, nah, it's just
they'll just
really.
swim by you.
Yeah, they're not like that. It's like you have to get a
But
real
I thought you
frenzy
get like
going.
one bite and then they're like, oh, blood, and then they're like,
But sharks are the same way, technically. No, not they don't go fucking nuts like that. But like sharks are the same thing. They can smell blood
well,
up
that's
to like
what
a
they've
mile
told us.
away.
Yeah, I feel like scientists are just making shit up. Fucking scientists, man. They're like,
Keep your
oh yeah,
mind.
sharks smell blood like 30 miles
Wow.
away, and then they lose their mind, and all they want to do is eat
Whenever
you.
I hear
And
this-
you're like, is that true?
Whenever I hear this miles away shit that these government scientists
Yeah.
are making up, like mosquitoes can detect you up to 4,000 miles away, and they just migrate from. No, it's bullshit.
That
Like,
one
they
mosquito
cross
is
the
coming
Atlantic.
for you.
Yeah, they crossed
really-
the Atlantic.
yeah. They
for
really
fucking
skipped
the
all those
jungles
other
of
people.
Africa.
That's true.
Yeah.
No,
They skipped all
but-
those other people.
Yeah, Jaws wasn't actually the one that kind of freaked me out when it comes to sharks in water. Surprisingly for me, it was Deep Blue Sea.
Oh
Yeah.
That actually fucked me up a little bit. Like,
Really?
I don't know why.
I
There was
love
something
that
about,
movie.
I know, I love the movie too, but there was something about those sharks, like when they were walking by the glass and the tubes, and there was those super sharks, and they just
Yeah.
It was the first time I remember seeing sharks because Jaws was done in '75. They did it with like an animatronic shark. There was no real. You didn't really get a good view of him. It just was never scary to me. It's a Spielberg film. It's light.
Oh
It's
my
almost
dude.
always daytime in that movie.
scene at the end, like, still like gives me chills. Where God,
Robert Shaw.
No, Rob Schneider. Is it Rob Schneider?
Are you talking?
Rob Scheider.
No, Roy Scheider.
Roy Scheider. Yeah, where he's like sitting there with like the cigarette in his mouth or
The
something.
bigger boat thing.
Yeah, everyone's
He's
like looking
feeding
the
the
other
chum.
direction, and he's like, he has his head turned like away from the water, and then he turns back, and this giant head comes out of the
Yeah.
water,
Oh, wow,
and then it
yeah.
goes down, and he
jerks up.
Yeah, there's just
Yep.
that cut where it's like he flies up, and you just see like
And then
seriousness.
he walks back. He walks backwards. And what does he say? He goes,
He's like, "You're gonna need a bigger boat."
You're
Yeah.
gonna need a
Yeah.
bigger boat.
And
That's
they're
a
like,
lie.
"Huh?"
Yeah.
It's like this. Their tiny little boat.
I love that movie, but again,
So well
but
done.
that never really scared me. I believe in 1975 it would have scared me more.
Yeah.
I saw it in the 90s, but Deep Blue Sea, you got a bigger view of the sharks. You got like
Oh,
those,
and they
that
got
vast
inside.
ocean. Yeah,
Some of them got inside their underwater.
Did it make you think
Yeah,
twice when
whatever.
you went to the beach?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
That's
it
crazy.
made me think of sharks. Like that was the first time I was like, I'm fucking scared of sharks.
I told you about my my shark thing. I was at like bachelor party or whatever for my friend, and then it's like we went out to the beach early in the morning. It was like in South Carolina or something. and then,
you did tell me this.
Anyway, apparently there were sharks trying to eat me or some shit, or like circling me.
He
and
had the
every time
classic movie scene where he's
Yeah.
out in the water
Every
and
time
everybody's
I
at the
look-
shore going screaming
this
for you to
happened
come back. Yeah.
twice that morning. I went out. I hear all this screaming from the beach. I come back. I'm like, what? And they're like, there's a shark. Get out of the water. I get out of the water. I'm like, you guys are full of crap. And then I go back out like a half hour later. Same thing happened. And one of the neighbors came over and was like yelling. And I was like, oh, if this random lady's yelling, then this must not be bullshit.
Right.
I'm like, this clearly
I
sharks.
literally get this mental image
that
picture
dark-
of you out there naked at dawn, just like the girl in Jaws.
Why did you picture him
No,
naked?
because in Jaws, she's naked in the water. I'm getting the vision of
She is
the opening
naked.
scene of Jaws.
I know she is, but that doesn't mean I should picture
What?
Neil
I
naked.
can't picture
No,
Neil naked?
I was just
Is
standing.
he not my friend? I can't picture him naked all
I'm
of a
just
sudden?
saying, why did you
I was
jump?
just standing there. I wasn't like swimming out to like the
Okay.
buoy. Like
I can't
it
believe
was
you
up
went
to
back
like my
in
neck.
after you were
Because I never saw anything, and these guys were like all drunk. It was like a bachelor party. I thought
Yeah.
they were just like, Josh and me. Is that a word? Josh and me?
Joshin, yeah.
Joshin.
Yeah. I don't know who
Anyway,
fucking got that
if
named
I had
after
seen
him,
the
but-
shark, I'd probably be a
Yeah.
lot more scared of being in it. But I never saw it, so I'm like, whatever. I'll go back in the water. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, that's
Wow.
Yeah.
so
That's
that
my-
that
Well,
was
I'm
probably
glad you're
scary.
here
Little
today.
side story.
Definitely
yeah.
glad you're here today.
But Deep Blue
Oh.
Sea, that did it for me.
So, this just transitioning to another movie.
Okay.
Or did you want to?
I was gonna say, are you gonna mention Open Water because that's the only other one that I could think of with regard to sharks
Yeah.
that really I think fucked
That
people
movie
up
scared
too.
me, not about sharks, but just about being in,
Being
the,
in the
ocean,
ocean.
isolated.
Yeah.
Like being out and not being able to see land. That freaks me
Yeah,
out.
like, how
it
long
fre-
can
it
you
freaked
swim
me out
before
about
you can't
sharks.
swim anymore?
Yeah.
The fact when she got bit by the shark, it was
Yeah.
so something that it was so subtle.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was like,
so little.
and it
It was
just
just like a
swam by.
small tug.
Yeah.
And she really didn't know what
Wow.
was going on until she started seeing the blood and everything. And that's the thing that got me, because it's like, if I'm in the water, whatever, like you
Actually-
with the surrounding, like,
what
did you feel
scared me
something
more?
there?
It scared me. It made me scared of going on a cruise and going on an excursion and like
Yeah.
another country outside of the U.S. and having some dude on a boat take me out to the middle of the ocean and be like, all right, all you guys jump out with your scuba gear. We'll be waiting for you right here when you
Right.
come back. Like that scared me more.
Right.
The idea that I would come up and they'd be gone.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
because they're just like whatever. Like they have good
Yahoos.
intentions. They
Yeah.
weren't like intentionally trying to murder you or something.
Unorganized.
but-
They're just unorganized.
yeah, they're just like, double head count. Oh, everyone's here. Let's take off. And
Right.
then you're sitting there in the middle of the
gone,
ocean. It's like, days later before somebody realizes
Right.
you didn't come back. And
Right.
I'm like, that scared me more than being in the ocean or the shark thing. The fact that somebody could leave you behind. They'd be like, I don't know about this. I probably wouldn't do that.
right.
What's that other
Unless
film?
it was like close to the shore. Unless I
yeah,
could
when you
see
can swim.
No,
if you're in the middle of the ocean. It's
if
like,
you're going to take me 20 miles out, I'm going to be like, nah. You
Nah.
guys go out. I'm going to stay on the boat.
that's a hard pass.
and I'll make sure everyone comes.
Did you guys see Shallows?
I did
yeah.
not see that.
That was
I did
the one
not
with
see it.
Lively? Blake Lively? Yeah, that was
I didn't-
good.
That was really.
Yeah.
You need to see
I
it.
heard that's new, kind of.
It is pretty.
similar.
It's
Yeah, a
good.
little
Like
different.
the shark stuff in there.
I'd rather be on
well
the
done,
rock
like the
though
CG
than
and all that.
open water.
Yeah.
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 What was the one you were gonna?
Oh, so just transitioning. I had a thought about Psycho, even though I only saw that from beginning to
Showers?
end recently.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I didn't think about the showers, but I was thinking more about, when you're on a road trip and you end up having to you have like an unexpected stay at like a single level motel.
A motor lodge.
Some like shady exit, and you're the only car there, and you're just like, it's nighttime, and then there's like some weirdo guy like behind the desk or whatever at 2 a.m. And I mean, eventually someone is going to run into this scenario in their life, you know, where they're going somewhere, they're on a business trip, a family trip, whatever, and you're just like, this better not turn into a This guy better not have like peepholes in the fucking wall and the paint. I'm like checking old paintings and shit and like looking at everything.
Yeah, those places get creepy and they're dirty, which doesn't help. They smell.
Yeah.
You know, the place where like
musty and like
the kind of place
moldy.
where like the bed will rape you. You know, like you just
But it's like you got to crash somewhere.
Yeah, you got
to. The next place, the Comfort Inn or
But
the
is it
Holiday
better to
Express
just sleep in your car? You know.
I don't know, but then didn't I always? What's funny when I think about that, I always think about whose dad was it? Michael Jordan's dad.
Yeah, it was Michael Jordan's dad. Exactly.
What happened to him?
He's sleeping on the side of the road or whatever.
He was in his car, I thought.
Yeah, he was in his car.
He just pulled over. He's on a road trip.
Yeah, I don't actually even think he was sleeping in his car. Yeah, I think he pulled over to get something. It was Bill Cosby's son.
Did somebody hit him
or
did he?
No, got killed, shot.
Somebody shot him.
But Bill Cosby's
so
son was the same, like a very similar scenario to Michael Jordan's dad.
It's like on a road trip and
it was. Something like that.
See, that scares me. I'm like,
I
I always think about that one incident where I'm like, nah, fuck, I ain't pulling over on the highway and trying to fall asleep. Like, no thanks.
Well, that's why I say if you see a baby seat on the highway or something like that where it looks like there's a baby in it or whatever, like there was a thing going around and people were doing this where they were doing that to get people to stop, get out of their cars, and they would jack them while they got out of their car, but it was a fake baby. It wasn't a real baby, or it was like a doll in a baby seat. Because you see that on the side of the highway, you get worried. You're like, is there a fucking baby in there?
Yeah.
They're like, stay in your car, keep driving, call, the cops or whatever.
Well, so I ain't stepping outside. So
well, that's the thing. You can't really go outside these days.
Crazy.
Outside your house?
Yeah. Stay in the room.
Yeah. Fucking horror movies, man.
I know.
But
now you
ruining everything.
You know what's one thing I never really got ruined for was clowns with It and Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I don't know.
never
for
got
some
fucked
reason,
up on clowns.
Maybe when I was really young, clowns did something a little bit, but I've never had like a super fear of clowns.
I never either. They're just awkward.
Yeah, I don't have.
They're just
It's nothing
awkward.
for me. It's literally like watching a mime who's a little more cartoonish,
like high pitched voice, like all the laughs and all that.
But like, does that
Like-
really come from horror films? I can't even think of one clown with a really like that even speaks that much. I can't think of one clown I've heard speak. Like usually they're more mimish.
If I was like sleeping
Physical
and I had
comedy.
a bed that was like, raised off the ground and it was enough for a body to fit under there, and then it was dark and I leaned over and looked down,
course.
like I'm gonna look underneath my bed and like a giant clown head popped out, like I'd be, whoa.
Yes, but I also saw the
They're
queen.
that
yeah,
entity that doesn't
Hold
belong
on.
anywhere outside of a circus.
Exactly, but if
Yeah.
I saw the
So
Queen of England
it's
in
true.
full garb with her scepter and her crown
scare
under my
me.
bed, no, it would totally scare
not on
me.
your bed, under your
That's
bed.
what I'm saying, under
and
my
then they
bed.
pop out
Yes,
abruptly.
If you saw anybody dressed in any costume if you saw anybody under your bed that you didn't put there, then it's fucking scary.
Yeah, but a clown,
can see
it
that.
just like it doesn't fit any scenario
It's a little
outside the
shocking.
circle.
Yeah, that's what
Like if I see one walk out
But
of
he's
a
a
gas
performer.
station,
Any
I'm like,
performer in any
what the hell are you
costume.
doing here, man?
But
Yeah.
any performer in a
I
costume.
think that's what it is, though. It's because you expect to see them at a circus, and then you see them in like they're not in their natural environment.
But that doesn't
Like
happen
they're-
except for
like
when
they're a
these people are
creature.
fucking with people on the streets, which happened like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Where there were all these clown sightings.
Oh,
Which is such a
yeah.
weird thing to say. There's been a lot of clown sightings in the area.
Yeah.
Lock the doors.
I feel like
Get
I
them
remember
kids.
that. It was like a whole group of people.
It was
were
like
just dressing up
it was
like clowns,
nationwide
like,
though. Like they were but they were doing things like they were coming at people and they had like
clowns are
weapons.
so weird. I don't even understand the origin. I guess it goes back to like what are those guys? A jester or something like that
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't
That
really know.
probably goes back to ancient Egypt or some shit.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it really screwed up people with Pennywise, and then you have the new It, and then you had Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that was more.
That's
of a
actually
joke
supposed
to
to
me.
be a series now. They're supposed to make a series.
Oh
on it.
yeah, well, there's actually going to
Are
be
they?
at Universal Orlando. They're going to have Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
They are, yeah,
Scare
for
Zone, I
Halloween
think.
Horror Nights, yeah.
Yeah.
But
That
anyways,
was so weird because they used the candy. What was it? The what's that shit? The
corn syrup,
no.
What
It's like they
Candy
roll
corn?
it or whatever.
cotton
Cotton
candy.
candy.
Cotton candy.
Jesus.
God damn.
That was difficult.
I haven't had cotton candy in forever.
My wife loves it.
Lowe's cotton candy, yeah. They would like
story.
wrap the people in the cotton candy and it would like drain
Yeah,
the blood
they
out of
drained
them
the
or
blood.
whatever.
Yeah. And then remember there was sucking
I'm
it
like-
with a straw.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
I'm like, this is what clowns are. This is the fucking aliens
That
that come
movie-
here and like suck our blood out
That
of
movie's
us.
ridiculous, though.
Here's
I just never got room for clowns.
Here's
but-
a movie. This movie actually made me want to turn around when I see somebody not facing me and not hearing what I do.
Oh, really?
Blair Witch.
I actually was just about to say Blair Witch.
in the corner.
Blair
Think
Witch,
about
yeah.
it.
That scene at the
Or the
end.
woods.
That whole movie, I was
It's
like,
that
okay.
end scene, though. It's that
end
That
scene
end
fucked me up.
scene like messed with me for a while because it's like
Yeah.
you're just one, the perspective of the film, it's POV.
Yeah.
So when that person ran down the stairs, one, it's like you were running down the stairs and you already know that story because they said
You don't
that
know
a
what's
couple-
going on in that room. You haven't seen the whole room. They're not really
Correct.
showing you a lot of angles.
But that
really
story,
dark.
that story is in your head because they mentioned it earlier. So that's
Yeah.
locked in your
where
head.
she would make one person stand in
So-
the corner and look away while she then killed the other
Exactly.
one. So you're seeing the other person look
So
away.
when
in the
you
corner.
walk down that stairs, you run down that stairs and you see that person in the corner,
Yeah.
and suddenly, boom, you get dropped.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was
I saw that in
phenomenal.
theater.
Good ending. Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
it
So
in
did I.
theaters,
Found
yeah.
footage. It was the first found footage film that I really.
Yeah,
I
there's
think
something about that found footage concept that's like,
I think it's still effective.
I think it is.
It's
I
surprising.
think it
People
is.
are like, "Oh, another found footage." I'm like, "It's effective. Like, it works."
There's
I
some
don't know
really
what to
good
say.
ones that have come out.
Paranormal Activity, even Cloverfield. Like, it's not a straight up horror film, but it works. Like, it adds to the that singular unit point of view, like that
Yeah.
singular
You're saying one
tunnel.
person's
Yeah,
experience,
like
yeah.
that makes it feel like you're
Yeah.
there. Like that makes it scarier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
So-
does. Yeah. Hope
But
they'll
yeah,
start implement that in a lot of VRs. That would be crazy.
Well, they tried that with Hardcore
Yeah.
Henry too.
Yeah, it didn't work well.
It was different. Yeah, I feel like
Well, here's another one.
What?
Any freaking like puzzle or fucking trap in Saw made me think twice about things, like needles. Like one of the biggest traps in Saw that affected me
Yeah.
was when the person fell in that box full of needles.
Yeah.
It was on, I think it was on the second one.
Yeah.
And I mean, because you think about it, if you fall on needles, you can't really push yourself up.
Right.
You can't really try. It's like that's
Oh.
yeah, exactly.
You just
So-
get like you feel it just thinking about it.
So
You're like, oh.
yeah, so you're
Yikes.
thinking like, what if something happens and that needle comes towards me or something when you're surrounded by whatever was in Saw and like, what if I got stuck with that needle? What if I fall on that needle? What
Yes.
if
Saw's weird. Like I always associate Saw with like industrial areas. Like I assume that he's or so. I mean, I know in later films it was like other locations,
Yeah.
but like some industrial area where a guy like there's a warehouse. So if I'm like walking around like an area like that, like I might think like, man, this somebody's got some like elaborate like torture chamber set up in here somewhere
Yeah.
that the police haven't found, like near a harbor or something.
Right.
It's always near the ocean, like for I guess a quick escape.
Quick escape,
I
I
don't
guess.
know. Yeah. it
yeah,
doesn't-
yeah. What was that other film that was like that, but it was about like how death comes and gets you?
Final Destination.
Final Destination. Yeah.
They made 6 of those.
They made
At
6
least.
of those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
but
good
when
movie.
you like
Devin Sawa.
see those films, you see how
Casper.
they made it like
Casper, yeah.
death it can happen easily.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
very simple.
I like how elaborate those movies
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, they get
like
crazy.
that. Yeah.
I mean, that's like literally freak accidents, like explained.
Yeah.
Like it's fate. Like you can't escape death.
But right now, Nick can spill his drink. It starts dripping on the carpet.
yeah, like and then he walks out the front door and like a tree falls on him.
Tree
and it all
falls
makes
on
sense. You're like, what the fuck?
you see these random events start to happen, and
The movie that really fucked me up for several things. It fucked me up for dark hallways. It fucked me up for mirrors. It fucked me up for bathrooms without windows. It fucked me up for peeing in toilets in public bathrooms. Was Candyman.
Yeah.
It fucked me up
Oh,
for
wow.
all of those things.
When I was a
okay?
kid, that was like the dare. Like
Yeah,
your friends would be
Candyman.
like, dude, go in the bathroom, turn the light off, and then like take a flashlight and,
Yeah.
and be like, say Candyman.
oh
Yeah.
wow,
And I did that shit.
And I was like, whatever, it's just a movie, it's bullshit. And then, you're like,
Your
you go.
mind like plays tricks on
You're
you.
like,
I
Candyman. You're like looking around, like,
Did you guys ever do it? Did you guys
yeah,
ever do
I
I
did it.
did it.
Dude.
I literally believed
you
that
like-
I
you
saw
like mind
Candyman.
fuck yourself.
because you have to
You're
go
like, it's
in
gonna
a place,
happen.
turn off the lights, and say Candyman 3 times, and then turn.
There
the
was
lights
also
back on.
Bloody Mary. It was Bloody
Oh,
Mary.
that's Bloody Mary.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
one. Yeah. So Candyman, really, I mean, I did that. I absolutely did that. And we
feel
we
like-
had a bathroom without mirrors, without windows, so it just was even darker.
Yeah.
And it was in a hallway that didn't have any windows. So there was no windows anywhere. Like there was no light seeping in whatsoever.
Yeah, I didn't have any windows.
Wow.
Growing
Yeah.
up. I was just had this thought, like, I
What
feel
the-
like
wait,
we
what?
had these awesome, like,
Please elaborate on your story. I didn't have any windows.
Or doorknobs.
when-
Yeah.
no, it was like an interior bathroom.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, I just had this thought that, like, when we were growing up, we had these, like, crazy, weird urban legends
Yeah.
floating around, and kids today are eating Tide Pods. Like, I don't know.
I know, right?
It's such a different world. Like, I just
Well,
can't
this
even
is setting up
imagine.
the urban legends for the next generation. These
Oh, the
guys right
Tide
now are
Pods?
just the ones who do the shit that becomes urban legend
Yeah.
for the next generation.
That's
So
true.
there's gonna be a movie
yeah.
about Tide Pods.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
the Tide Pod Killer.
They should remake Candyman. I think
They
that's-
are. You know, they
Are
just
they?
talked
Oh.
about it. You know who's going to be doing it?
Who?
Jordan Peele is going to be producing it and possibly directing it. And they're
Oh, wow.
rebooting. They're doing a new
wow.
Candyman. They just announced that like a couple weeks ago.
That'd be awesome.
That's-
Yeah,
That's a
but,
great
So
film.
there's a scene in there where he comes out and he cuts off that kid's pecker in the public bathroom.
yeah.
So that fucked me up for public bathrooms. But the one scene in that film, which I've mentioned before, is the scene where she's in the bathroom, right? And she opens her medicine cabinet and his hook busts through the wall behind the medicine cabinet.
Oh,
She
yeah,
freaks out. She runs out of the apartment and she stops in the hallway, and it's a long, dimly lit hallway, and at the end of it is Candyman just standing there in his black trench coat and his hook.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Be my victim."
His voice. Oh my.
I fucking shat myself so bad. It was, and it's such a scary
Yeah.
scene, and I don't know how it would play today. I haven't seen it in a few years, but I just remember that. So I lived because that movie is very urban. Like it's in a city. It's not suburbia,
Is
and
it
I
like
grew up
New
in a
Orleans
city
or something, or?
It might be. I don't remember Chicago possibly, but I grew up in a city,
Yeah.
so like I was used to hallways like that. I was used to these kind of tenements, these apartment buildings that are like worn down
Yeah.
with the shitty lighting in the hallways and everything like that. Like
Yeah.
that was all very, very much in my life. So that scene felt real. You know, it felt like this could happen every time I walked out of my friend's apartment to walk home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd walk down one of these hallways and I'd be like, oh,
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah, man. That's
yeah,
just.
that fucked me up.
I can't. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
fucking
man. That
Candyman.
messes me.
And
I
it's-
will say like like Nightmare on Elm Street a little bit. Like there was a time
Yeah.
period where the dreaming thing,
I definitely had nightmares
know?
from
It ma-
of that film too.
Yeah, it made you
It
like
did make-
think that your dreams could affect
Your life.
your life.
Yes,
like
they could
you
be real.
dream about dying and then you would
Well, because the
die,
greatest
you
thing
could get
about
killed in
dreams
a
is you could
and
dream about anything and it could feel real, but when you wake up, you're awake and you're like, that wasn't real.
You're like, oh, my body's still working.
Yeah.
You still
like-
remember the waterbed
yeah.
scene?
The what? Oh yeah.
Oh, it's not a waterbed, is it? The
No,
one with Johnny Depp? Johnny Depp
I don't
scene
think.
where he
I
gets-
No,
think
this
it's
was
supposed
like-
to be a regular bed, but you're
There-
talking about when he gets sucked
I'm
into
thinking
the
of Edward
bed, and then
Scissorhands.
it's like all the blood starts shooting out into the ceiling.
No, the one with the holes. I think
hole-
it was the second one.
I think you're thinking of Edward
Oh.
Scissorhands.
No. I'm
Who
not.
also has, blades on his fingers.
No,
And
no,
he
I'm thinking
sits
of-
on the waterbed and he pierces it, and then the
The
Yeah,
water
no, I'm
starts-
thinking.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking of Elm Street.
It might be the second one. Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
remember that.
they may have
Yeah,
tried to recreate that bed
Here,
scene.
I'll pull it up.
because that's
Yeah.
with
In the second one?
yeah.
I think
It's the guy from
Jack
Weird
Sparrow.
Science.
Jack
Johnny
Sparrow.
Depp's in the
I
first
think
one.
it's the second one.
No, I mean Johnny Depp is the one that gets sucked into.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
bed.
yeah. When he's got the headphones on.
What did I say? Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, no, it's not that one.
Yeah, that's his real name.
Jack Sparrow. I don't know. It makes me think of that Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
He was really good at
Yeah,
that
well, he's
fifth one.
great and everything.
That's true.
But real quick, moving on. Aliens is not the movie Aliens, but I got fucked
Glenn's death. It was Glenn's death.
Glenn's death?
Yeah.
What's that?
up. Who's Glenn's?
It was on the second one.
Oh,
the
Glenn's death. Oh, okay. So
The character's name is Glenn, and he
Yeah.
died.
So wait, there were like holes poked in it. I have to rewatch them actually. I remember the first one more vividly than any of the other ones.
Yeah. I saw the second and third one within the last couple of years
Yeah.
as well, so I'm a little more fresh on that one. Second
No,
one was
I'm
very
sorry.
weird.
Glenn's death is
Johnny
Depp.
Depp. Yeah.
Okay.
Joey's death is the one that's
Is it his friend in the second one?
Yeah.
Like it's him and
yeah.
The waterbed.
Yeah.
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 So because he has
okay.
his friend in the second one, and he's like afraid of killing. Because the whole point of the second one is he's possessed.
Yeah.
Right. So he's like he's being possessed by Freddy. So he's afraid of killing his friend and afraid of that he's becoming a murderer.
Yeah.
Basically, it's weird. The second one really kind of takes a turn that's like not in the first one. It's
Yeah.
not just about the dream.
I like
world.
it when they like.
And then he
change
comes
it up
out into
like that.
reality, and he comes out, and all the kids are in the pool. Remember, and he jumps through the window, and
No.
Oh,
I need
like
to
Freddy
rewatch
became-
it. I need to
it's
rewatch
weird.
it.
They
Freddy
do things-
Returns, right, or something like that.
I think it's called Freddy 2, isn't it?
Nightmare on Elm Street 2?
Yeah, no,
Freddy,
Freddy 2.
Freddy's
Nightmare on Elm Street
Revenge
2.
or something?
Yeah, maybe Freddy's Revenge.
It might
yeah,
be Freddy's
that sounds
Revenge,
right.
yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
right. Okay, but the movie that fucked me up on alien abduction and farms was
Farms.
Fire in the Sky.
Oh, okay.
Fucked me up. That scene where he gets abducted and they're shoving that jelly into his
God,
mouth
yeah, man,
and like,
that was-
oh man, that whole thing.
The thing like covers his face and then
Yeah.
they poke the hole in
Yeah,
it. Or whatever.
exactly.
But they don't poke
Wasn't
the
it
hole.
based
They use
on a
like
true
some metal
story?
thing.
Yeah,
it's
that's what
Travis
fucked me
Walton.
up because it's based on a true
Well, so
story.
what's interesting is I was obsessed with this movie, Fire in the Sky,
Yeah.
and then I went and found, I Googled it, did all this research on Travis Walton to find out how accurate that scene was to what he reported in like his book, because
Yeah.
he wrote a book about
Yeah.
this whole thing.
Yeah.
'Cause it was like a national news, like this guy disappeared. There's loggers claimed he was abducted or whatever by
Yeah.
aliens, and in his book, it's like completely different. Like literally, like he was.
Oh,
it
in the
wasn't a
movie?
pleasant experience for him, but he definitely didn't have all that weird.
because they
shit
made
happen.
it really obvious. Like,
Yeah,
this
like-
is an alien abduction in the movie.
He claims there were like humanoid looking people that were there, and there were like the gray alien things
Yeah.
there, and they were like talking to him and shit. And he like passed out, and then he would wake up, and then he had like a few experiences
like in the
he could
70s,
recall,
right?
and then he woke up and he was like back on Earth or wherever he was. He was back.
Yeah.
He woke up at like a gas station or some shit, like naked and
Right.
just all
I wonder if
fucked up,
all
dehydrated.
this shit about aliens started because somebody played a fucking prank.
Yeah, it started the whole thing off. Well, it's like that was in the 70s, right? Fire in the
this
Sky
is in the
came out in the
70s.
90s, but it was about the 70s.
Yeah.
Right. Back when
What's his
people
name
would
was in it?
believe that shit.
T2 or T2000.
Robert Patrick.
Yeah.
T1000.
Wasn't he the officer,
T-
police
T1000.
officer?
No, he was his best friend.
Oh yeah, that's
He plays
right.
his
That's
best
right.
friend.
Yeah.
T1000.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was back when people would believe that shit. Like, if that happened now, people are like, he's fucking tripping. He's tripping balls. Like,
It
there's-
still
like, that's
happens
just-
now all the time.
I know, but,
But
nobody
you-
really believes it.
You know
People
what?
don't believe it because it doesn't happen to them, but there's like, dude, there's
know
like
what?
physical evidence, man. I'm a believer.
All right.
You know
I'm
what
X-Files,
movie-
man. Truth is out there.
The truth is out. Yeah,
Alright.
there you go.
Keeping it real.
You know a movie
Keeping it real.
still gets me
You
today.
think?
Well,
Keeping it
whatever.
quasi-real.
Still
I'd
gets
rather
me
believe
today.
and not be caught off guard when the aliens invade. And
I
then-
prefer
Oh,
to
yeah,
be
okay,
young.
yeah.
You guys are gonna be freaking out. You're gonna be like, I can't believe this is happening. And
I'm
I'll be
a
like,
guy-
I fucking told you guys. Like,
I'm a go.
goddamn.
You're not building a fucking shelter. You're not doing
This
anything
is
about it.
exactly what's gonna
I'm not
happen.
doing anything.
You're filling your
different.
head with this shit. You're like, I knew it. You're like, is that
This
all you
is
want to say?
exactly
All
what
I
hap-
want is to be able to say, I
I told you so. You're just preparing for it. I
Yeah.
told you so.
When we get
That's it.
invaded,
Yeah.
Neil's gonna be standing by one of those guys that have this big sign
Oh, yeah.
about like follow God because they're coming or whatever. And he's like,
Armageddon
yeah,
outta here."
we told them, they didn't listen. Yeah,
High
fuck y'all didn't listen.
Y'all gonna
yeah.
be hiding in your basement. I'll be like, no, they're friendly. It's all right.
No,
No big
it's
deal.
good. Yeah.
You're
Oh, so
Independence
you're gonna
Day.
be the one.
All those cows, that was like just that was
Oh.
for funsies. They didn't mean
So
to harm
Neil's the one
cows.
on top of the building in Independence Day when he's
Yeah.
waiting for them to come down. Then
Yeah.
suddenly the building
Dude,
goes.
I'm up in the mountains in my secret cabin that you guys don't know about.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. There's a movie about that where people go hide in the cabin. It's called End of Days or something like that. It's pretty good.
When aliens invade?
Something like that. Yeah, it's called End of Days. or
End of
something.
Days is the
no, there's a
Arnold
movie
movie.
Not
with
the
that,
Arnold.
that
It's-
guy
it's-
from what was that show that was by Mark Wahlberg on HBO?
Entourage.
Entourage. Like,
Yeah.
who was the main guy in Entourage? The main actor.
Adrian Grenier.
Yeah. So he's in this show where basically somebody sends out like a virus via cell phones or something and it like shuts down the entire world. And then they end up, I think it's called like End of the World or something. It's on Netflix. But they all end up,
Yeah.
and it happens while they're all up in a cabin up in the mountains up in California
Yeah.
or something. And then it all happens while they're there, and then they start to like drive around and it just turns into like a war zone. Like years later, all this group of friends are still like
Wow.
trying to survive at this cabin, and like people trying to kill them, like drifters and stuff, because like the whole world just shut down.
Jesus.
I know aliens are crazy, but a film that really got me, it has nothing to do with aliens. This is actually like it can happen to us, anybody, was Strangers.
Strangers?
Strangers
Oh,
with
the
Liv
Strangers.
Tyler. I know
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
talked about this
you
movie
talked
before,
about this.
but
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet.
This
yeah.
is the
You guys-
hotel. Isn't it the motel
no,
thing?
this is
Yeah,
not
what you're
motel.
talking about.
This is not the motel.
Yeah, it is.
No, this
Just
is
showed
not
us
the
the preview
motel.
Oh
last
no,
week.
Strangers
No.
is when they come to their house.
Their
the one I'm
house,
thinking
yeah.
of, what there was that other one. That was what I confused it with. What was the other one with
Is it Identity or something?
Luke
like
Wilson and
Yeah,
Kate-
no,
Kate
it's not
Beckinsale.
Identity. It's
Yeah.
something else. Yeah.
And they're
Identity
in a
is
motel.
also in a motel.
Identity's in the
Also
motel. Yeah, that's why I was thinking that.
Psycho.
Which is like that psycho theme you were talking
Yeah,
about.
that
where
was
they
the
come
one,
to
the
motel to
snuff
kill
film
him.
one. Luke
Yes.
Wilson and
exactly,
what's her name
yeah.
was where they like play the VHS tape and there's like they're
Snuff
murdering.
film,
it's
and
snuff
then they
film,
realize
yeah.
they're in the room that snuff film
Yeah.
was filmed.
Yeah, and then they see all the cameras like hidden in the air vents and shit.
Jesus.
But Strangers, for no reason at all, they're just playing games with you.
Yeah.
throughout the whole night while you're in this house. It is crazy scary because that can happen anytime. You could be asleep. Like, I remember, like, I used to be in bed and any noise I hear, I used to be like, what the fuck was that?
Somebody,
I ain't gonna go check it out. If you're in the house, you can take anything you want, but just leave my underwear because I gotta get out here with something. You know, it's just Strangers was so realistic, and I think it's actually based on true events.
Yeah, it did say that in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, based on true events.
were
It
these
reminds me of
inspired
Fear
by
a little
true
bit.
events?
Did you guys ever see Fear
With Mark Wahlberg?
Mark
Reese Witherspoon?
Wahlberg.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's a little different
That's
because they
different.
identify who the intruders are, but it's like you live in an isolated home where someone can cut your power, cut
Yeah.
your communication. I mean, everyone has cell phones now,
Yeah.
so you'd have to have some military.
You better have good
grade.
signal though in that
shit.
kind of secluded
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the seclusion. Were they cut off?
They
or
were cut off,
near?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
they went outside.
Those
So-
scenarios do freak me out. Like, I wouldn't buy a house.
You know,
No, they were in a neighborhood.
No, because
Oh, they
Scream
were.
even did that. Scream even did that where it never felt like the houses were right next to each other.
Yeah,
It
that
always
house
felt
at
like
the
yes,
end of the movie
exactly.
was
Yeah.
like, it felt
Yeah.
isolated.
They
Like,
were in
there
a
could have been a house
neighborhood.
across
and
the street.
Casey's house in the beginning of the movie. They
Yeah,
never
they were
felt.
so,
yeah.
Well, it was one of those, anytime you drive in like
Yeah.
down those 2-lane highways or whatever, and in the Midwest, it's always like the houses are like a mile apart
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
And they never show their faces. They never show their faces. It's you guys.
The
gotta
whole
see this
movie?
The whole movie. That you never see.
What's
their
it called
faces.
again?
The
Strangers.
The Strangers?
Strangers.
Strangers or the
Strangers.
Strangers?
Yeah.
No.
So
the-
it is Strangers.
Yeah.
It's
It is Strangers.
Oh, so it is?
It is
is
Strangers. It's
It is
Strangers.
Strangers? It is Strangers? Okay. So here I got one. A movie that ruined me for women.
Oh,
yeah. I know you're
with
gonna- I know
Glenn
you're gonna
Close.
say- Oh, well, there's that. Yeah, Fatal
God,
Attraction.
Fatal Attraction.
Teeth?
Jesus
Was it Teeth?
Christ.
Oh, well, I haven't seen that.
Oh,
but yes,
also
it was-
Teeth. Yes. Oh my God.
Teeth in the vagina.
Whoa.
Yeah, I still haven't watched that.
You need to watch it, dude. Have
that's
you
all
watched
I'm
it?
told. That's
Dude,
all I'm
it's
told.
so good, right?
Yeah.
So this movie
it's
Teeth.
a satire. It's a satire.
This movie Teeth. This woman finds out she has teeth in her vagina.
They like grow spontaneously.
but they're like
her
sharp
whole
teeth
family
that like
line.
eat penises.
But initially, she's just like she can't control it.
So
but
can
then
she use
she
it-
learns.
So she can't. She use tampons,
They don't. I don't know if they
or
get
she like
into that.
strictly a pad lady.
No, it's only when like a man is aggressive. It's like men. She starts to like
It's a
like get
self-defense
physical.
mechanism.
Yeah, and the thing just like it just happens, and the guy's like, let's do it, babe. Like a guy's like clearly
But what
assaulting
if
this
what if
woman,
it's
or like.
consensual? What if it's consensual? Do the teeth?
Then I guess it's up to her.
Depends on the day.
Oh, right, because she controls it later.
She
Because
does,
learns to
yeah.
control it.
Later,
Does
later.
she control it?
I think what ends up happening, like, it's the whole movie is like kind of a satire. Like
No,
the
she
music
turns
is
evil.
hokey. I mean,
I think she turns evil, if I remember correctly.
she
I haven't
uses
seen it.
it
I haven't seen
against a specific person at the end of the movie on
Yeah.
purpose because the guy was like a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. That she turns
But
evil. Yeah.
then there's like not that she turns evil, but yeah, it's almost like she goes around.
Revengeful. Revengeful.
Yeah, she's like, now I can like seduce men and then have my thing bite their junks off.
yeah.
Well,
dark
well, I was also
subject.
going to mention the movie Witches.
Oh yeah,
That
I don't know
scene-
what it is. That whole movie fucked me up.
That whole
Which
movie
one?
is
I don't know
way
what it made
darker
me
than should
afraid
be.
of. Maybe
Witches.
older women.
The Royal Doll one with Angelica Houston with the lady. They take
The
off their
witches, yeah.
wigs.
Oh,
Angelica
yeah, with the
faces.
mouses and everything.
Yes,
yeah,
they
that's,
turn
that's
their-
actually a kid's film.
They turned.
So
Yeah,
good.
was it though? Like seriously, I know there's.
Oh my god.
Did
Supposed
you
to
watch
be.
that as as a kid or as an adult?
I watched that as a kid and adult. I love that film.
I saw it when it
Dude,
came out.
Great
Do
film.
you guys
I was like
remember?
5 years old.
You know what fucked me up about that movie?
The event convention.
No.
The
You know what it
hotel
was?
convention. What?
It was the one fucking that scene where the grandmother is telling the little her grandson
story.
about the little girl that the witch trapped in
yeah.
the picture,
Yeah. Oh
and then
my
she just
gosh.
slowly aged, and the whole time the father was like looking for his daughter.
But she's
Yeah.
in the painting.
and she
Yeah,
was
and
in
she
the
was in the
painting,
painting.
and she
Yep.
would just like get the painting would shift over the years because she would age.
But it was
and-
so gradual, you'd almost.
yeah, it was
never
like this
notice it.
gradual trend, and I was like,
That's
that
crazy.
fucked me up.
Yeah.
Like
That's
every
so
time I
funny.
watch it, movie, it still fucks me up. Like that whole concept of being like trapped in a fixed
Yeah.
location.
Yeah.
And like
no, for
can't-
me, it was
Yeah.
that scene where they have the convention or whatever of witches,
And they're all
and
there?
the kids watching, and they start.
Oh, they
to
grab
take off,
them.
Well, first they take off their wigs.
Yeah.
Then they take off their noses and their faces and their nails come out and
all
everything.
those camera angles too. It's like these
Oh my
weird,
God.
like
Yeah, handheld.
Yeah,
and
like
they
it
are so grotesque. It was
Yeah.
really good makeup, honestly. It's that whole
Was that, what's his
long
name?
chin with the hair?
the Muppets guy who did all that.
Jim Henson?
Jim Henson.
I don't know. This was about around the year that Jim Henson died, so it could have been Henson's puppet show. But they're not
So
puppets,
good.
really.
That movie
It
was so
makeup.
good.
It could have been Stan Winston. doing
Yeah,
makeup.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I was confused with the witch.
Oh yeah, that's
His
different.
original
Yeah, no, witches.
Yeah, that movie made me scared of goats. Scared of ghosts.
Yes.
You haven't seen it,
did.
I still haven't watched it. No.
Oh, God.
But yeah, witches. But the thing is, I was a kid.
The
so
chick from shit. What's that movie?
yeah.
It's a Split, is in it?
Right.
The main chick.
Yeah. Right. That's what you told me. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Witches was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
That was a goddamn nightmare. Like
Yeah.
that I couldn't. It's weird because it was marketed as a kid's
And when
film,
he becomes
I'm
a mouse, like that was
Yeah,
not
that
a
whole
fun
thing.
thing to me.
No.
I was like, all somebody's gonna do is step on you and you're fucking
I don't know
dead.
why it was marketed as a kid's film. Like it really, just because there's kids
Roald
in
Dahl's books are considered kids
know.
books, but they're fucking they're terrifying.
it. The book's not even as scary as the movie is, and I've read that book, Witches.
Oh,
It's-
did you?
Yeah, it's not as scary as that movie,
Yeah.
and it's because they did the makeup so well.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Angelica Houston was incredible.
Exactly. Well, Angelica Houston, I still can't see her any. Like that was
And then
the
the
first movie I ever
diabetes.
saw her
That's
in.
how I learned about diabetes. Is that movie because the grandma? He's like, grandma, and then the grandma like passed out because
Right.
of the
Oh, wow.
sugar or
Right.
some shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Remember?
That's right.
She had
Yeah.
diabetes.
So around the same
I was
time
like, what's
period,
diabetes? Does that kill grandmas?
diabetes? I got
Yeah.
the diabetes. And then there's arachnophobia, which is around the same time.
Ah.
Spiders.
I used to like hang out with spiders, let them bite me, and
Oh,
just
I
be
had.
buddies with
I was
'em.
holding a tarantula just a couple months ago. Like, I'm not scared of them in terms of like it's fucking ruined me for life. But
Well,
at the time,
I know
I was
the
like,
tarantulas can't kill you,
Right.
So I would hold a tarantula.
well, it's in that movie these spiders, which look like
They
tarantulas.
come from like South America or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And they literally bite you. Like the lady goes to turn off the lamp, and there's a spider right there. It bites her as she's turning off the lamp, kills her instantly. Like
So-
it's so simple. And then
I-
this fucking papa or mama spider at the end won't die. It's like comes out of the fire.
I wear like hats, and I'll
Yeah.
I wear like a hat for work, and I'll like shake the hat in case there's a sign. I don't know why this
Is that
started.
from arachnophobia, I wonder?
Maybe like I was like I had this idea that there might be a spider sitting in the hat and it'll like bite me.
But this is the thing.
So
Are
I'm,
there
like,
things?
shaking that
Are
shit
there
out,
things
and
we
I'll
do
put it
without
on.
even thinking about it that are just normal habits that we have adopted
because of some
movies?
some fucked up horror movie.
That's the thing, isn't that crazy? Like you might shake that out. Might have been arachnophobia. That
Yeah.
did that. By the way, they're talking about remaking that arachnophobia as well.
Oh
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly. I
awesome.
saw that the other day.
yeah. John Goodman was in that. Jeff Daniels.
Yeah,
They are
that
remaking
was a
it.
great
That's,
movie.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you said they were talking about it. Oh.
You know
I
what?
did
Also,
know that,
another one that messed me up was The Ring.
Yes.
The first
Yeah.
one, that the American version. I never heard of the Japanese version, Ringu. They made like 2 films in Japan,
Yeah.
and then in the
That
U.S.
literally sounds like
Gore
an
Verbinski.
native English speaker. Like, how do you say ring in Japanese? Ringu. Yeah, that's it.
I don't know. That's what the movie's called. I'm
Is it?
assuming that means the ring. I don't
It
know.
just doesn't sound like an
I've
actual
seen
Japanese
it. I own
word.
that movie. I love the first one so much. I bought the Japanese original that
Wow.
it's based on. But Gore Verbinski directed that. And
about
Naomi
that, yeah.
Watts is in it. She's
Yeah.
fantastic. The second movie's like, all right.
But it makes you not want. I'm glad we graduated to DVDs, Blu-rays, and now
That's
digital.
what it was,
away
man.
from
It was
VHS.
there's twofold. It was the television with the static.
Yeah.
And it was also the VHS tape. That the
Yeah.
idea that in the 7 days, man, that shit has like became a national phenomenon. Like
Yep.
7 days, you get the call or whatever.
Yeah.
And they'd be like 7 days, and then
Those
crazy
type of
shit would
films-
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
Like,
type
that
of
was
films were
bananas.
awesome because people actually started creating those type of like.
Yeah. The idea that you
Video
could go
films,
into
yeah.
like a video store, and at the end of that film, they take the video to the video store and they just place it there because the only way that they're gonna live is if people continue to watch
Right.
it.
So
And
you
they-
actually return it.
It's like
afterwards.
the chain. Yeah.
Yeah. So you go and bring it back to the video.
That's
store
crazy.
that you
Someone
rented it
else
from.
has
Like
to
it can't
watch
end.
it so you don't get killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's no way, even though Naomi Watts goes through all this bullshit to like find that girl and set her soul free and all this shit, and then still didn't work.
I just sent it to Death Row,
Evil
man.
ass
Just send
fucking
it,
little girl.
Just send it to Death Row. That's perfect.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Those guys are like, sometimes they get pardoned right when they're about to be
Yeah,
killed
but like,
and all that.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm just saying they don't have rights. I do.
I don't know.
That's wrong,
Yeah.
right? That's wrong.
Wow.
Okay, so
Did you see Deadman Walking?
Yeah.
That's
That's
a
a
good
good
movie.
one.
That's a good
Susan
movie.
Sarandon,
That's a
Sean
good
Penn.
movie.
Oh, but how about a movie that scared me? I was scared of tomatoes for the longest time. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Are you serious?
I'm kidding. I wasn't scared of tomatoes. That movie's ridiculous.
How about
Wicker Man. Did you guys ever see that?
I never
what-
actually saw that.
That's yeah.
Something about like a bunch of women living together doing that.
Wait.
Just ended there.
Did
Just
you
ended
end
right
it
there.
there? Yeah, that's
No, because that's
something about a bunch of women.
I never
living
saw the
together.
original. I only saw the Nicolas Cage one, which
I
a
did
lot of
too.
people think is hilarious. And I'm like, there's nothing funny about this fucking movie. I mean, maybe his like
His
overacting is like
overacting,
so.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
but I love it. I love it. It's
But
like
it's not.
crazy,
Yeah.
whatever. But that shit was crazy. Like
That
it was like
was,
there was
yeah.
something sinister about that
It was
like
cultic.
a colony. Yeah, it was. You know what it is? It's
very
that
cult,
cult
and
thing
they're-
of like going
yeah.
in, and then there's all these like group of people, and you're like, something's not right. Like
Yeah.
they're acting like everything's kosher, but they're really like eating babies like in the middle of the night or some shit.
Yeah.
Or sacrificing Nicolas Cage.
Right.
You know, the bees. The bees. Have you seen it?
No.
You guys remember the movie The Others?
No.
Oh yeah,
I know what it is.
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman?
Never
Yeah.
saw it.
Never saw that?
Nope.
Okay, I want. You should see that. That's a great film.
Okay.
crazy.
I love how we like the last couple of podcasts be like, hey, I should see that, or someone should see that. 'cause
Yeah.
we haven't seen
This
great
is great actually because it helped. We're getting like lists of movies that we haven't
That
seen.
we haven't
We've
seen,
seen a
yeah,
lot of fucking
yeah.
movies.
I know.
But,
Seriously.
but that film made me think when something suddenly falls
Yeah.
out of nowhere. Or
Oh.
something budges or something you
Yeah.
hear or you see like
Like
there's a reason why
you're
something
sitting in your room
I don't know,
and the
actually.
door like clicks shut and it's like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was half open. It's
Yeah.
like click and you're like,
what is going on? Yeah, so gosh, this is hard because that's a movie that you should watch. I shouldn't talk about because you need to see
I'll
it.
wa-
Yeah.
I'll watch that. But one movie that actually it's interesting. We were talking about this right before the podcast, but it's not particularly a horror film, but it's kind of a little grotesque, a little weird. It's very fucking weird. Is Toxic Avenger?
oh
The
yeah.
Toxic Avenger is such a weird B movie, low budget, ridiculous. Like it is one of the trashiest movies you could watch.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but it's almost like they're very serious about making a completely ridiculous movie. But there's a scene in terms of wanton murder, just reckless, just killing of people. Doesn't matter how old they are, who they are, or what. Is a scene where the two guys, two girls, like they're kind of the villains of the film, are driving and they're like smoking weed and drinking beer and everything, and then they pass a kid who's riding his bike at night down the street, and they stop, they back up, and they wait for him to go ahead, and then they fucking run him over. They run him over, and
Is this like a PG movie?
Yeah, no, it's like R-rated, but they're gonna get like 100 points if they hit the kid, and they hit him off his bike. He goes flying, he's all fucked up, he's all bloodied and scraped up, and he's still crawling. He's like, and they're like, oh god damn it, he's still alive! Go back, kill him! They back up and they run over his head, and it turns into like alphabet soup. Like it's just like. And they get out and they're like taking pictures of it with their Polaroid. They're
Jesus
laughing. They're having fun.
Christ.
So
It is ridiculous.
How am I
So,
feel like I've
wait,
seen
wait,
this
wait,
movie, but I
wait.
do not remember the scene.
We have got to watch the Toxic Avenger newly. Like that movie is goddamn
But it's like
bananas.
Super B.
It's
Super
super
B.
beat
Okay.
in the 80s, but it's
You
fun.
could get away with that kind of shit
Yeah.
in Super
yeah,
B movies.
but
It's
I'm
not-
trying to
it's-
see how
Toxic
it's
Avenger-
excessive
relatable.
gore.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
No,
Are you afraid to ride your bike on the
yeah,
street?
I'm saying like no. In
But
terms
it-
of what
it's
I was
like
gonna
that
say is-
mentality, though, you know, of like that's
That-
somebody that could do that.
Yeah, like somebody
Yeah.
who's so out of their mind that they're willing
Yeah.
to even kill a kid. They're willing to like just kill somebody with no reason.
Yeah.
That is always. We were talking about this when we were talking about the Michael Myers character. Like it's that no reason. There's no rationale. There's no reasoning.
Yeah.
There's something so scary about that.
Oh yeah,
And,
100%.
it's not even-
this is why Strangers like scared the crap out of me because there was
They never
no,
explain it.
Yeah,
Really?
there's no. I don't want to explain the movie because
Okay.
you haven't seen it, but it's one of those movies that's like that
Yeah.
you would truly respect because there was no reason.
Right.
And it was all like games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's freaky. It's so freaky because it's so realistic.
Yeah.
To just somebody can go be that demented where they just don't care.
Right.
They
Yeah.
just don't care. They just destroy you. That's
Yeah.
that's
that
the
was
goal.
that was like Texas Chainsaw for some
Yeah.
reason. I mean, the isolation also that concept of being isolated in
Yeah.
like the farmhouse type, the dilapidated farmhouse, like
Yeah.
you know, and it's also that like whole thing of like, you know, that dirt road that's like half a mile
Yeah.
to the house or whatever from the highway or some shit. You know, you're on the highway, you see
Yeah.
these dirt roads and there's like a
Yeah.
house like hidden in the trees or way
Oh.
down in some
Anything could happen back
valley
there.
or something. Yeah, you're like they could be like stringing people up, like just grabbing
Yeah.
drifters or whatever and doing
Yeah.
whatever. But the mentality of the family at the end of that movie was
Right.
what disturbed me.
Yeah.
Like their mentality, like how they live like that, and everything's totally like from their point of view, what they're doing is completely fine.
Right.
Like that.
So
It's
true.
something
That-
about like because
you-
I think of Scarface, and when Scarface, that guy, that killer or whatever, mafia guy, was like, you know, we're gonna blow up that car and kill the kid and,
Yeah.
and the person,
Yeah.
and then he's like, no kids, no
kids,
I can't.
I did no fucking kids.
And then he goes crazy and kills the guy.
Yeah, who's about to blow it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, who's about to blow up the car. I'm like,
wife
it
and
makes
kids.
you like sympathize with Scarface, even though he's a fucking psycho. But you're like, oh, he
It's
doesn't
his
kill
only
kids.
redeeming quality in that entire movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, it makes you even though he's like murdering people the whole movie,
Right.
you're like, oh, he won't touch kids. Like that's that's a good
Women
quality.
or kids. Women or kids.
Women or
I'm gonna
kids,
name
yeah.
one last film for me because
And I got one more after that.
This film, I don't like going to desert areas at all because it's just
Tremors?
realistically nasty. Definitely not Tremors.
Oh, okay. I
Good
thought
call
you
though.
said Tremors,
It's
yeah.
a great film. I love that series.
Yeah.
But The Hill Have Eyes.
Hills
Yes.
Have Eyes. I own the original, and I don't even think I've watched it from beginning to end because it's like
so
it's rough.
creepy.
It's
It
rough.
is so. It's like
yeah.
it goes back to they have no. They're just crazy.
Yeah.
They're just crazy, and the things that they did to people in that film.
Yeah, they
it's like,
kidnapped the baby.
How do you even have the balls to make this film
Right.
to show these things? Because it was just. It
You're
was
talking about
crazy.
the nursing mother scene.
I'm talking about all of it. All of it.
Have you seen
yeah.
this?
No.
Oh man, dude!
I'm talking. Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah, it's just.
And it's the actress from God, what was that movie with God, what is his name? Rodney Dangerfield. It was like
Old School?
No, it was a soccer movie.
Ladybugs.
Ladybugs.
Yeah.
You remember the chick in Ladybugs? And it was like the chick that Jonathan Brandis or whatever his name
Oh,
was,
yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
attracted to. That actress. She's been in a bunch of stuff recently.
Wait,
In my
the
mind,
little
I
girl-
always
little
go back to
girl? Little redhead girl?
Ladybugs.
You mean the little redhead girl?
No, I mean she's like I think they're in high school or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan Brandis is not that old in that movie.
I-
Vanessa Shaw from Hocus Pocus?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she plays like the love interest, but she's in this movie. She's
Yeah.
like way older. Like this movie, the remake anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In,
You're
like,
talking about the
2000
remake.
something.
Yeah, that's why I thought you were talking about the original
Yeah,
one.
there's a brutal scene in that. I don't want to describe it, but it's it's like it's one of those movies where it's like the human behavior. You're like, how could somebody be that disturbed or
Yeah.
whatever?
Right.
You know?
Here's a movie that fucked me up for being buried alive. Not that anybody ever wanted to be buried alive or thought it was a
Ryan
good prospect.
Reynolds?
Yes, Buried.
That was a great
that
film.
movie, Buried. It's just that one location.
And
just,
you're like, oh, he's totally gonna get out of
yeah,
this.
and he totally doesn't.
Yeah.
Last
Yeah.
second,
He's dead.
Last second, he doesn't. We just ruined it for everybody.
Oh, sorry.
But that movie. I mean, that is probably the worst thing that could
Yeah.
happen to you. Like in terms of dying, one of the worst things that could happen is being buried alive.
Yeah.
Because you're down there in pitch black.
Oh, you guys haven't seen The Serpent and the Rainbow.
No, but we talked about this.
We have talked about it. I've been trying to get you guys to watch it. Wes Craven
Yes.
directed this film. I'm not sure if he wrote it, but it's loosely based on true-ish events.
Okay.
Or the concept, the core concept of the film, but it has something to do with being buried alive. It was what these like hoodoo priests in
Yeah.
like where is it, down in like Puerto Rico or one of these like island countries or whatever, like Haiti, or I think it may have been Haiti or something like that. Anyway, they had this like powder or whatever that they would make from some plant that grew in the jungle,
Yeah.
and when you would be exposed to it, the voodoo guy would like blast in your face, like just blow the dust in your face or whatever,
Right.
and all of a sudden you would become paralyzed. And if somebody checked your pulse or like tried to see if you were alive or whatever,
Yeah.
like you had no pulse. So
Jesus.
people were like, "Oh, they're dead." So they would have it, and what ended up happening is you would go into such a state of like unconsciousness or whatever, not unconsciousness, but like your body would appear to be dead, but
Yeah.
you'd be fully aware of everything that was going on
Oh,
to you.
shit.
Like you could feel everything that was happening to your body. You just couldn't move, and your heart would basically slow down. So it was slow.
But imperceptible.
You couldn't tell that like you had like a heartbeat.
Yeah, I remember that
And so-
with Chris Pratt. And
Yeah,
Jurassic
so they
Park.
they would do this to like the hoodoo guys
Jurassic
would do
World.
this to like people they wanted to get revenge on or whatever, and they basically the community would have like a whole funeral for you, have you in an open casket, be walking you down the street, and then put you in the ground, and then do the whole
And you're
funeral
aware of
rites.
all of it.
You're aware of all of it, and then put the lid on, and then bury you. And then if you were like somebody that this was just like a warning, like they'd dig you back up, but if not, then you were like dead.
Holy.
But I'm like,
That's
it's
crazy.
crazy. And Bill Pullman's in it. You gotta watch it. It's
Wow,
so good.
that's
It's so
crazy.
good. It's such a good movie. I never heard of it before, and then randomly
Right.
came across it.
Well, but if
The
you think of it,
Serpent and the Rainbow,
for me,
yeah.
that is the worst prospect of death. Like the idea of being buried alive. It's pitch black down there.
Yeah.
There's like no oxygen, except for the oxygen that came in with you. That's gonna run out.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Oh, yeah, Kill
you
Bill.
can barely move. Yeah, Kill Bill. At least she gets out though.
What does she do? She does.
She punches. Yeah, she does the thing.
the
for-
one
for
finger
training.
punch
Yeah.
or whatever. The like
The 1
Bruce
inch
Lee
punch.
thing.
The 1 inch punch.
1 inch
Yeah,
punch.
it's
Yeah.
awesome,
Yeah.
and she gets out.
That's what I would do. Like in my mind,
That's
I go
all I
back to
would
that
have-
movie, and I'm like, I'd 1 inch punch that shit until
No,
I
but think
fucking
about it. Think about
shot through 6 feet of dirt.
I mean, that's
Oh,
what
God,
happens in
yeah.
Buried, though, is it like he gets filled up and like you just get to the point. If you start doing that and you don't have it angled exactly, and then you want to try and do the climb thing, because the whole thing she does is it creates this loose dirt thing as it's filling the coffin she's in. So if she doesn't get out right away, she's fucked,
Yeah.
right? So you end up burying yourself even worse. But again, you wouldn't die immediately. You would almost like drown in
You
dirt.
kind of suffocate a little
But
bit.
if you don't have that, before that, how long does it take for you to die being buried alive? You're hot. You're claustrophobic. You're stuck. You can barely move because there's no space. You can't see anything.
Oh, you
can't
suffocate.
move. You can
Yeah.
scream as much
You
as you want.
might actually pass out
how
before
long?
you would suffocate.
How
You
long,
might
though?
pass out from lack of
But
oxygen.
how long? Like that's literally, even if it's hours, even if it's days,
I don't know,
weeks,
dude. It's
months,
better
maybe
than
if it's
drowning, I
hours.
guess, man.
I'd rather drown. Drown,
No.
it's over with
You're like,
quicker.
No, you're like,
Yes, but it's seconds. It's seconds with
Hey, what if
drowning.
it could be like 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
But that's better than fucking possibly weeks or days.
No, you have time to contemplate your life and think about things.
But you can't breathe. You're like,
No,
you're
man,
sweating.
it's that mental state.
Oh my
dude.
god, it's the worst feeling. Like
I
that's
know,
so
here's what we
terrible.
do. This is
Dying
what
is
we
not
do.
good. That's what we've
Let's
established.
put-
Don't die.
Die in my sleep, man.
Let's put Neil in
Try
a
not
corner
to. Yeah.
with the lights off and see how long it takes him to either turn around, say something, or try to communicate in some form or way.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. It's like you're
You don't have a
it's-
cell phone on
yeah,
you, so you can't call
there's
anybody.
nothing-
Now, if they put a gun in there with you, that would be cool. Because
Wait,
at
do
first
I-
I would try shooting upwards to try and get somebody's
What if I have a
attention.
cell phone but no signal, but I have a bunch of movies saved on my SD card because
Would
I
you-
have an awesome Android phone, not an
Battery's
iPhone
gonna run out at
that
some point,
doesn't
though.
have expandable storage.
Battery's
Battery
going to
saver.
run out.
I'm gonna put that shit on super saver mode so I get
Exactly,
like 20 extra hours. I'll be long dead before that battery runs out. They're gonna find my body and a movie still.
I really don't know how long you would live, but I feel like it would possibly be longer than you're thinking.
I don't think I want to try
Maybe.
it. It just sounds horrible. It just
No,
sounds
just leave a gun in
horrible.
there with me, and if I can't get attention by shooting off the gun through the ground,
Did you guys ever see Wolf Creek?
no.
Oh,
Yes.
man. Did you see it with the one in
Yes.
Australia?
Yeah.
With like the
The hitchhiker?
backpackers or whatever.
I know I'm copying what you just said, but
I like how he's
it
just waiting for you to say
it.
it.
Just
and he's
popped
like,
in my head.
I can't
Like,
remember if they were they were like backpackers.
You know when
It was
it's
like
coming to you,
teenagers.
like you got that movie, like you know what you're talking about, and you're seeing scenes. But that's
Yeah.
me, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember films. I'm not good with names at all, but I've seen.
Or words.
Dude,
It's in
I-
Australia.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So it's like
Or
it's
either that, or I remember
crazy.
Dundee. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
or
Crocodile.
Hitcher. Or Hitcher.
Or Hitcher. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so basically this like group of teenagers or whatever are like
Is it the one with
traveling the
teenagers
outback.
that are traveling the outback? Is it that
Yeah,
one?
they're traveling the outback.
Yeah.
And then basically they're being hunted.
Oh, the one where they're
essentially
being
by
hunted
this-
by
an Australian
Australian
who's
hunter.
basically
Hunter.
an evil
Yeah.
Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, I'm doing what he did.
Is he an evil crocodile?
He's,
Dundee?
yeah,
I
he's
don't know the
copying-
movie at all.
Yeah, he was copying
Oh,
me, but
you
then I was
never heard of
copying him
it?
copying me.
Dude, it's crazy.
You didn't see the flow?
That's true.
I've never heard of that movie.
All right.
And then It Follows recently.
There's
Yeah,
a
I
lot
I
of
like,
films.
It felt like
There's-
if I was younger, it would have had a bigger impact on me. I
Exactly.
like the movie a lot, but
I
like,
think it has to do with when you see it, because I don't get fucked up on things because I know their movies.
as
you
an
know what I
adult,
mean?
it's a little bit harder to like that suspension of disbelief.
Yeah,
but-
I really I don't do that anymore. Like no movie really ruins things for me. Somebody's gonna find a way to ruin like a perfectly normal activity.
no,
like
they'll
eating
they'll
toast,
ruin things that are like.
Strangers will ruin it.
where
for
you'll
you.
think about it when you're doing it. You know, like somebody's
I
gonna
think-
fuck up toast.
I
Somebody's gonna
think
take a
there's
shit
still
on
a
a piece
chance for you to be ruined.
Somebody's
my
gonna take a
friend.
shit
Watch
on a piece of
Strangers.
toast. Somebody's gonna take a shit on a piece of toast and like eat it in camera, like real time. And then I'm like, I
with
can't-
jelly.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I can't eat
A
toast
shit and
anymore.
jelly sandwich.
That's gonna happen. It's gotta be something like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there's tons of films. I could talk about more that really affected me, but I think one of the most powerful one was Strangers. That really like freaked me out.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if
We
you,
should mention Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
mentioned
You guys have
that,
all
I think.
seen that. The first
Yeah,
one.
I've seen
at
all
least.
three of them. I see the first
Yeah.
three. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I
All
mean
first
that I think freaked out a lot of people because it was like a $10,000
Yeah.
film or
Again,
$500 film that
There
went
was
it's
so
to-
kind
much-
of a found footage film
Yeah.
thing too.
Yeah.
It's with the security cameras
became
and
like
everything.
$100-200 million. Or
Yeah.
something, like a-
people
like
did
one
not
of-
know if that was
bananas.
real or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the most profitable films.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people have those little infrared,
Exactly.
or
Night
night
vision.
vision security cameras
Yeah.
or whatever, and who knows, man?
That
Weird
fucking
shit.
film. Oof.
Yeah.
That scene at the end.
Sleepwalking
Sniffs
always
his body.
freaks me out.
Sniffs his body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sleepwalking does fuck me up because I remember this Lifetime. No, it was a TV movie in the '90s with Tori Spelling or something like that. It was like, and
My
there was a
niece
guy who
sleepwalks-
killed
sleepwalks.
somebody sleepwalking.
Or she
Really?
used to.
It's scary.
Yeah, I remember.
It's not like Step Brothers where it's funny.
No, it
You
is
know?
not funny because I remember I was staying with my sister and then she woke up and she was like, I don't know, 10 or something, and she's like walking around and she's talking, but her eyes are closed, and it's like she's not walking into walls or anything. Like she
They
knew
say
exactly.
it's really bad to wake them up, right?
I don't know. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's
She's
true
a
or not,
10-year-old
but,
girl.
like-
Pick her ass up, put her back in bed.
But then my sister would literally just walk her back to her room and then put her back in bed and like put the covers on her and say go to sleep, and she'd be like okay, but her like eyes were closed the whole time and she was like talking. Like she would just walk, like literally my sister would wake up and she'd be standing next to her bed and like talking.
Oh God.
Like the fucking movie, but it was like, she didn't have like a knife or anything. So.
All right.
That's
Well, let's do an honorable mention, and then we'll close it out.
I named all the ones I wanted to name.
haven't?
I named all the ones I wanted to name.
I just have because
All
I
right,
had
you just-
one that
yeah.
I totally forgot about.
You blame fucking Neil when he can't end a podcast. You wanted to end this 5 minutes
No,
ago.
no,
and
this
you
is
I
still-
want to
good.
give it an
We
ending.
should do an
I'm
honorable
giving it an
All right,
ending.
honorable mention.
Do you have one?
You want me to go with mine?
I'll go last because I have to find one now.
Okay.
Oh, I do have.
All right, you go, Tiago.
Fourth
looking.
Kind.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Alien abduction.
dude, I was like that. This movie's real, or the flashbacks were
It's that
real,
movie
or
that make
whatever.
you think. Found
Is it-
footage.
It's a little bit of it's
Yeah.
a found footage with
Yeah.
like reenactments with
Yeah.
because you know what fucked that movie up? Mila Jovovich at the beginning of that film is like, this movie's based on a true story. All the footage you see is real footage from psychologists, blah blah blah, from her sessions where she was interviewing the abductees, and
Yeah.
she like gives this introduction
Speech,
to
yeah.
the
Yeah.
audience, and then the movie starts, and then I like researched it. I'm like, that movie's total bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
But it made you
Universal
research,
Studios,
though.
but it was like I couldn't find any information about like the
Events,
the
yeah.
events or anything like that. And I went to Universal's website, and there was nothing on there that says it was like fake, like there was
Yeah.
no data. So they basically created a void. It was like hard to and the thing I think that like, where I was like, this has to be bullshit, is because Nome, Alaska is like completely different than the way it's portrayed in the film.
Yeah.
Like it's basically an ice block.
Yeah.
Like it's not. There's
It's
no
not even a
trees
town.
anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a town, but it's like there's no trees or anything like that. Like
Yeah.
it's not in the
There's,
world.
it's not surrounded by mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this movie's full of shit. Fucking lying ass movie.
All right, what do you have?
All right. So, well, first I just wanted to mention if you're scared of snakes, it's probably because of either Anaconda or Snakes on a Plane, but both kind of ridiculous movies. But
Yeah.
Anaconda was a little bit scarier.
Yeah.
And again, if dogs, again, this is not me. I named all the ones that probably like fucked me up a little
Yeah.
bit. But for dogs, it was Cujo.
Yeah.
And Man's Best Friend. Do you remember that movie with the hybrid dog that like has Viper and
I remember like a
Rottweiler?
poster for that or something, but I never saw
yeah,
it.
Lance Henriksen's in it.
Yeah.
It's from like the early 90s.
Wow.
And there's a scene where the dog literally chases a cat. And usually when dogs chase cats up trees, the cats get away. They get up in the tree. They're fine. This fucking dog climbs
it.
up the tree
Yeah.
after the cat, picks up the cat, and then swallows it whole. And it shows it all in camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's swallowing
It was
the
that
fucking
fake dog.
cat
Yeah, I
like
remember
a
that.
snake because it's got viper in it, it's got cat in it, it's got dog in it, it's got all these things so it can climb trees. It can.
Yeah.
It swallows whole like a snake would. It's
Yeah.
crazy movie.
I remember that scene because it
Yeah.
was like that animatronics dog, and you
Yeah.
see the cat go in.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
I was gonna say, actually, it just popped in my head. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, or like
Oh,
The
yeah.
Ward with. There's a bunch of movies like this, or
That's
even
interesting.
Institutions.
God, yeah, what was that one that just came out? Gore Verbinski directed it. He like wrote and directed it. It was something like the pill.
Oh
Sweet
yeah,
Pill, or-
yeah, with the guy from
Yeah,
Valerian,
the guy from Valerian,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
10,000 Planets or something.
I know what you're talking about with the blue pill.
Yeah,
Dahan. Something Dahan.
hold on, I have to look this up
Shoot.
real quick.
I didn't see that yet.
Dane DeHaan.
Yeah, Dane DeHaan. I was right about the DeHaan.
A Cure for Wellness. I had not seen this movie at all, and it came on TV randomly on HBO or something.
Yeah.
And wow, this movie's an 8.8 on IMDb. That's
Holy
crazy.
shit,
And
really?
like a 41% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, that's apparently the users and the
That's-
critics are
Yeah.
at odds on that one.
They're
Wow.
backlashing.
Yeah, that's bananas. It's a super solid film, and it's really disturbing. But it's just that whole idea of like, I mean, I know in these films they don't necessarily portray this, but the idea of like going into a mental institution and then somebody drugging you, and then you wake up and you're a mental patient, and they're like, no, like you're crazy, and you're like,
Right.
wait, but I'm not crazy. I came here to visit somebody.
can't
Like,
convince
what
anybody.
do you
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And like nobody listens to you, like that. Like anytime I go to like a hospital or like, I mean, I don't go to mental institutions a lot, but if I did, that concept of being like, trapped or whatever.
Yeah,
that
that'd be kind of
freaked me
hard to
out.
do a podcast.
Yeah, it would be difficult. do Do it via the intercom connected to a cell phone. And then,
All right. Well, don't go in the water. Don't be in the house by yourself, and then don't go in the mental ward.
Try not to breathe
Yeah.
air.
Yeah, and
Don't
try
breathe
not to,
air.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't
just
go outside. Lock yourself up.
Don't
Stay
get
in bed.
trapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay in
Yeah.
bed. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us at Get to the Podcast. It's Get to the Podcast with the number 2. My name is Tiago D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
Why is the pen moving?
Monster Squad. Monster Squad. No?
Did everybody
not
just
related.
die out?
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.